I grew up in Northern California, in Chico. Always been really active my entire life. Tennis, gymnastics, soccer, swimming. Me and my sister would do everything. It was great. Really was like the best time of my life. My real passion was swimming, and I was competitive from day one, wanted to always win. I would have record-breaking times in the pool, and I used to watch the Olympians and actually met a couple, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And even from a little age, I was like, I want to be an Olympian, I want to go swim. I remember I'd get my little trophies that I'd win or my medals, and used to dream about, one day So it was the Northern California All-Star meet, the summer of '95, 8 years old. That day I didn't really feel very good, and I didn't do well. I didn't do well at all in that stroke, and that was very, very odd for me. I started having these headaches. Oh, Mom, my head's hurting. I don't know why. I just don't feel good. And so it started to show up in my swimming. I think that's when I knew there was something going on and something was wrong. I came down with a sore throat, and it wasn't just like your average sore throat. It was really bad, like horrendously bad. So I would go into my doctor. They gave me antibiotics, maybe it's strep throat. I didn't get better. Other symptoms started to come as well. I started to have these horrible, horrible headaches, grabbing my head and please make it stop, and crying out in agony. It progressed pretty quickly. After the headaches came more of the body aches, the bone pain, and the all-over pain, so severe that I ended up not being able to walk. I used to say to my mom, my bones hurt. My bones hurt. People would be like, oh, is it your muscle? No, it's deep. It's in my bones, it's in my joints. Nothing was helping. None of the pain medications were helping. They kept taking me back to the doctor and throwing out ideas like, oh, maybe it's mono. Okay, it's not that. Oh, maybe it's strep throat. Okay, it's not that. Okay, maybe it's juvenile arthritis. It's not that. I couldn't go to school. I couldn't walk. I was in pain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no relief. Well, there's worse things than dying sometimes. Sometimes the illness that you're living with is worse. And at 8 years old, there were times where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not any sort of life that I want to live. And really, my support system and my faith in God really got me through those times. My mom actually was the core part of me getting diagnosed. She took all my symptoms and she went to their library and she pieced them all together, and she said, you know what? I think she has Lyme disease. She's just like these kids in the books. She found a physician that was a pediatric neurologist in New York who treated Lyme. That doctor in New York said I was almost a textbook case of Lyme disease, but I didn't have the rash and I didn't have the tick bite, so it wasn't being pieced together. So they started me on the IV antibiotics right away, and oftentimes it was more than one antibiotic at a time, so I'd have multiple IVs a day. I've had PICC lines, I've had ports, I've had Grosjeans, I've had Hickmans, I have scars all over my body from what happened to me. And initially with Lyme disease, you have die-off from the spirochetes, so you get worse. So a lot of people with Lyme, they stop their treatment because they're so sick that they can't handle it. And that's one recommendation I have for people is get someone to be there by your side and not let you quit. You will get worse before you get better, and you'll get a lot worse, and you're gonna feel like you're gonna die. You're gonna wish you could die. My parents were, no, we can get you through this, we can do it. And I had a huge support system that really was pivotal in getting me better. I tried to get back into swimming, and I was never as good. So I stopped. That dream got crushed. And one thing about being ill is like you get things taken away. So that was the first thing that really hit home. And then around, I think, junior high, I started playing tennis again. And I was good. It was very good. It was, one of the top of the team. I tried to practice 2 hours a day, but often my body wouldn't let me, and it hurt too bad. And I knew that if I went and I played in college, I wouldn't be able to do well in school and play because I was still hurting too bad. And so that was also another dream that kind of got taken away. And if I could just have my body, I wonder like what I'm capable of, I still have my brain, so it's like, well, you have that, so you're smart and you've always been interested in medicine. I decided that I was going to go to med school, and it was really hard. It was rough, especially with the test you have to take to get in, the MCAT. It's like an 8-hour-long test. Sitting there trying to pay attention for 8 hours when you're in pain is a chore in itself. So I would have to plan like, okay, how am I going to be able to keep my pain under control and take this test? The day I got into med school was like probably one of the best days of my life, because it was like, finally this dream hasn't been taken away from me. And they said, well, how do you think you're going to handle it when you're a med student? The hours are quite different. I said, I don't know, but I've gotten here. I can do it. I'll find some way to do well. People were studying for crazy lengths of hours, 12, 14 hours a day. And I finally just said, okay, you can't keep comparing yourself to others. You just got to do the best that you can do. This isn't ideal, but I can do it. I really realized that on my anesthesia rotation back in September. I was doing like long days, like 10, 12-hour days. And I was doing it. And I would call my parents and be like, I'm doing it. Like, I'm getting up at 5 o'clock or 4:30, and they say, what? No way. I really usually connect pretty well with my patients because of what I've been through myself. Being able to take their history and learn about them and help them and diagnose them and get them the right treatment that they need. You'll have these patients that you feel like you make an impact on them, and I think that's something that really keeps me going. I never went long without participating in some sort of sport. I picked up horseback riding. When I'm riding horses, I'm not thinking about being sick. I'm not thinking about the pain that I'm in. I'm just enjoying the horse and the jumping. I love it. Everyone kind of understands cancer. Not everyone understands Lyme disease or these other illnesses where you look fine on the outside, but inside your body is being ravaged by this disease. So now when someone doesn't know about Lyme disease, I try to educate them. And I don't try to be overbearing, but I just try to give like a little bit of my story and be like, yeah, it is chronic and it is real. The treatment's really hard, but don't quit. Don't quit when it gets really hard. When you feel so bad and you're in so much pain, don't quit, because eventually there'll be a time where you do turn a corner and you do get better. But yeah, I think it was just having faith that one day it would be better, because it will.